All right, time to welcome in from 24/7 Sports our guy Patrick Brown with more on this matchup. And Patrick, the national stage for this one, but give me the level of excitement in Knoxville with Tennessee ranked just outside of that top 10.
Well, Brandon, it's a big game week feel here in Knoxville. You could kind of sense it after Tennessee came out with that overtime win at Pittsburgh. They played Akron last week. They sold out the stadium for a team that had won 4 games in 4 seasons. So a lot of anticipation has been building towards this one. College game day will be here for the first time since 2016. Tennessee's just on the outside of the top 10, really in the rankings for the first time since that same 2016 season. So this is a huge stage for Tennessee, a chance to sort of validate the progress they've made under second-year head coach Josh Heupel. And there's going to be a lot of build-up and a lot of national attention on this game, and it's going to be up for Tennessee to make the most of it and capitalize on it.
We've seen growth in this program from last year to this year at this point, but a lot of that has to do with Vols quarterback Hendon Hooker. Very critical of his game, especially last year's meeting with the Gators. He actually reflected on it this week, his performance, along with giving himself a letter grade. I want you to listen to this.
I would give myself a D. You know, I hold myself to extremely high standards to almost be perfect, you know, in a sense. But, you know, that's not possible. But as close to perfect as I can get. And I honestly just judge it off of, are we winning? Like, am I doing my job in order for us to win? If I'm not, then it's not a good game.
Well, clearly he's doing his job this year, Patrick. 3-0 coming into this game. Your thoughts on what you've seen from Hooker this season?
Yeah, he's been really good, and it's that Florida game last year for Tennessee. It was early in the season. It was a disappointing performance. Tennessee lost 38-14. That was Hooker's just his second start coming in. He started the season as the backup, so that offense that's put up a lot of points and a lot of yards at multiple stops for Josh Heupel was still trying to find its groove a little bit. Hooker in particular, but he's been excellent since then. He set a couple of program records last season. Passer rating and completion percentage. The offense itself finished top 10 in yards and points, set 8 single-season school records. They've been pretty good to start this season. Got off to a slow start at Pittsburgh, but made some plays down the stretch of that game. And Hooker is the face of the program. He's the guy that makes it all run. Tennessee likes to spread the field. They like to go fast. They'll snap it, 10 to 12 seconds from one play ending to the next play. And Hooker's a guy that can impact the game with both his arm and his running ability. He's an exciting player to watch. He's been around a while. He's a Virginia Tech transfer. This is his 6th year of football. So he's been around the block. And I think for him and for pretty much everyone in that Tennessee program, they point to that Florida game last year as sort of a turning point where they kind of saw what they didn't do right, saw how they could improve some things. And if they avoided some mistakes, they could be a lot more competitive and a lot more successful. And that's sort of where their season flipped last season. And they've just sort of been on the rise and on an upward trajectory ever since, with Hooker a big part of what they do.
Hooker, by the way, 298 and 2 touchdowns against Akron after that early exit and that W there. But looking at the program as a whole here, you've already talked about it a little bit, but Josh Heupel in Tennessee, look, they're 3-0, 11th in the country. Have their expectations changed for them? Because coming in, we didn't know what they were going to be, but right now they're 3rd in their own division. Can they be a contender? What has changed for them, maybe, the thought process this season?
Well, this is the game that's going to separate that, right? I mean, this is a game that Tennessee has won one time in 17 years, and this is a great opportunity. They're going to be at home. The crowd's going to be electric. The atmosphere is going to be really intimidating for Florida. This is going to be Florida's first road game under a new staff. It's a little bit like Tennessee was last year, going down to Gainesville. So this is an opportunity for Tennessee to sort of validate some of the progress they've made. It wasn't that long ago that this program was looked at in disarray. They had an NCAA investigation. They fired Jeremy Pruitt. They had 25, 30 players leave through the transfer portal. You had questions about the roster. Their numbers on the roster were really low last season. They had to overcome that lack of depth in the SEC, which is always tough. And 16 games into Heupel's tenure, they're where they are, where they have this stage, and now they have to go take advantage of it. And there's a lot of excitement, but I think there's some nervous anxiety too from a lot of Tennessee fans, because even though Tennessee's, I think, a 10-point favorite, they're expected to win this game. They're probably the better team. They have to go out and do it, and that's not always been the case in this series that Florida's been able to control, even through its own ups and downs. If you look at Tennessee, they've been looked at as sort of a laughing stock for however many years, and Florida's only had one less head coach. So it's not like Florida's been dominant like Alabama and Georgia has, but This is a huge opportunity for Tennessee. I think not only this season for this team to take the next step and insert themselves into the discussion in the SEC East, in the SEC, but also as a program to validate the progress that they've made rather quickly under Josh Heupel through just one season and 3 games.
Real quickly, I got 10 seconds for you. Do they win this game? Is this the tone setter that you're talking about here? Give it to me.
Everything points to Tennessee winning this game, but I'm a cynic. I'll believe it when I see it. I've seen enough Tennessee performances against Florida that have been bad and resulted in losses that I'll have to believe the Tennessee win against the Gators when I see it.
All right, we'll see what happens there. Maybe history does change there. Our friend from Patrick Brown there out there in Knoxville. All the excitement in this top 20 matchup between the two. Of course, that game Saturday at 3:30 Eastern time. Number 20, Florida, and number 11, Tennessee. The Gators, by the way, won 5 in a row, 6 in the last 17. You know the numbers, including that decisive 38-14 win last season. But you can catch that game on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.